That money line starts at the end of the headline, and it's a little bit slanted, and it goes up towards the mercury finger. It's vertical. So that space between the head and the heart line, that's age 20, 30, and about half of 40. And then it crosses over the heart line, and then the other half of 40, and then 50, and 60, and 70. And the explanations between that sun and the mercury finger. Excellent money line, 2 lines, incomes, in your 20s, 30s, and 40s. If you get financial aid from college, you have to count that as income. And then you have 4 lines which start in your 50s and your 60s and your 70s that go up. Very, very good lines in there. That matches. Over in your fate line, you've got 4 lines that in your career. And those 4 lines then kind of match what's in that fate line. Okay, that excellent money line. That should take care of the money line then. Okay, let's see. The last one on that line are your achievement lines. These are your past achievements and your upcoming achievements. Boy, you're going to be a busy boy in your 50s. The circled ones are the extra good achievements. Either they're extra long. They're the lines that come up off the top of that lifeline. They're either extra long or they've got really good color in them. Ages 13, 14, 15, circled at 19, circled at 21, 23, 26, 30, 39, 46, circled at 50, circled at 53, circled at 56, circled at 57. Those are some really good lines. They're down there at the base of that thumb. And then age 59, age 60, 61, circled at 62, 65, 67, circled at 68, 70, circled at 72, circled at 76, 78, and circled at 82. Fate line. It's your career and your lifestyle. I can't tell which. When there's a break in that line, it's changes in either the one or the other, either the career or the lifestyle. And here's the ages, and I circled the ones that have the good breaks in them. Age 25, circled. 28, 30, 32, 35, 36, and 41. That crosses over that headline at about age 40. And then from age 41 to 55, you got 2 lines going parallel to each other. That's 2 jobs, 2 responsibilities. And then age 58 to 68, I've got 4 lines in there. That's 4 responsibilities. And that goes on for about 10 years. Well, 58, 68. And then it changes to 1 line. Then you'll finally get to slow down a little bit there at about 68. Getting pretty old by then. And then I just get 1 line going up, crosses over that Saturn ring at the base of the Saturn finger, and it goes up to about age 91. So you're going to live until you're about 91 years old. Okay, one more little thing in there. You got a lucky sign that's a little triangle. It shows up in your, might be, I don't know where it showed up, but it could have been in that lifeline. One at 40 to 43, and then you've got one at 50 to 53. Generally, they last for about 3 years. All right, your marriage lines show underneath that Mercury finger. Look at the heart line. Starts in between the Jupiter and the Saturn fingers, comes down into the palm, and makes a curve, which means you're very loving and caring. Got a little tiny bit of heart stress on that heart line. It tells you about your emotions and your heart health. And then it goes to the outside of your hand where there's flirt lines, little tassels on the end. Yours are very good. That means you interact well with people. Right above those flirt lines is where your marriage and your relationship lines are going to show. They come horizontal from the outside of the hand towards the inside palm. And then your children lines come vertical down from that ring around the Mercury finger. So that section in between the flirt lines and the ring around the Mercury finger, you divide that into thirds. First third's about 20-30, age 20-30. Second third's about age 40-50. The last third's about 60-70-80. So, off on the left-hand side of your chart, I get one relationship. I don't think that's a marriage line. I hope that is the marriage line. No, because you've already been married longer than that line goes. One relationship before your marriage. It was probably an important one. Then I see two marriages in there. The first marriage, and that's probably the one you're in right now. Excellent, good color. I can't tell you exactly how long that is. The timelines on these marriage lines aren't very accurate. But you still got a little ways to go on that marriage. Then the second marriage line sits quite high in the hand, a little later in your life. The second marriage isn't as good as the first one. Look down there at towards the bottom, along the left-hand side of the chart there. Your chances to marry at these ages. When you have a chance, I can't tell you exactly when you're going to get married, but if there's a little marking in the hand that is a chance to marry, it looks like the letter Y, a little stick with a fork on the top, and it shows in the fate line. The fate line's got a really good timeline on it. It starts at the base of the palm, runs up there to that Saturn finger. When it crosses over that heart line, that's about age 50, and that ring around the Saturn finger is age 80. So you got that little Y marking in that fate line at age 60 or 63 or 67 or 69. One of those, and I say it's whatever you pick, because you're the master of your fate. Your two children, is that what you got two children, don't you? Just a minute, let me look. That could be when you marry again. You may pick up a couple more children, and they can be adults. They can be, it's someone you have bonded with, however. It could also be maybe you may have a couple of grandchildren in there that you bond with really good. Now, right at the base of that Jupiter finger, you've got a sixth sense. Should be a little fat mount. Oh, it is. You got a nice little fat mount right there at the base of that Jupiter finger. That's your sixth sense, your intuition. And here's how that works. If you got a problem you got to solve, just clear your mind completely and let it go for about 30 minutes. And then when you come back to solve the problem, you'll probably have it solved, because that gives your intuition a chance to kick in, or your sixth sense. And so listen to your little promptings, because yours are very good. The length of your fingers is your talents. Everyone has talents. No one gets cheated. So long fingers mean one thing, short fingers mean another thing. The shape of your palm is probably your most important talent. And boy, have you got an artistic palm. Holy cow. I've never seen one so good. Square or rectangular is kind of athletic, but a round one is artistic. And you've got a major artistic palm. A musician's hand is kind of squarish at the top but round, but yours is just all round. Then go up to the top of the chart there where it says types of fingertips. Yours are all round, all 5 of them. I only read the right hand. Intuitive, quick, compassionate, should be in the health field. Very caring, you care about other people. Go back down to the thumb now. You got a little tiny bit of a short thumb. That means you're very good with numbers. Go up to the index finger. It's called the Jupiter finger. Let me explain these names on these hands. Palmistry is about 2,000 or 3,000 years old, and they went through and they named all the fingers and the areas of the palms, and they kind of stuck. So generally the names are Greek gods or goddesses. That index finger is the Jupiter finger, the middle one's the Saturn finger, and the ring finger is the Sun finger or the Apollo finger, and then the little one's the Mercury finger. And that space between the heart line and the headline, that's the Mars area. and that little area right at the base of the thumb where it says sexual libido, that's the mount of Venus. Venus, goddess of love, because that tells you about your sexual libido. So that Jupiter finger, that is just excellent also. That's most of those fingers are measured against that middle business finger. That Jupiter finger is the boss finger, the manager, the supervisor, teaching finger, sales finger. But your business finger is really good. Needs to be about the length of the palm, and it is excellent. Good business sense. You know how to make money. Now that ring finger, the sun finger, and the mercury finger are in relation to the brain. The sun finger is the right, equals the right brain. The mercury finger equals the left brain. And they have the same characteristics as the right and left brain. So that, and you've got a long ring finger, that sun finger, creative, imaginative, inventive. That's excellent. Then that little finger is your words finger. It means you work well with words. It's just absolutely average. It needs to come up to the ring around the base of that top joint of that sun finger, and it just barely gets up there. I say that's the scholarly finger. So it's average, a little bit long. It can be long or short. Short is a hands-on person, active person, you like to move around. But long, it's a scholarly finger. Let's do your guardian angels here. Guardian angels are on the left hand only, and you'll have a line that comes up the bottom of that lifeline. It'll touch on the lifeline. Then it makes a little line that goes across. And this is the age you were when somebody you have bonded to has died, has passed away. Like your grandparents, your parents, your siblings, your aunties, your uncles, your cousins, old boyfriends, old girlfriends. And that's the age, like I say, that's the age you were when they passed away. So here's who your guardian angels are. They kind of stick around and watch over you a little bit too. Here's who your guardian angels are in your left hand. 12, age 12, somebody who passed away when you were 12. 15, 21, 22, 25, 28, and 35. Now on your right hand only, this is a little visit from a guardian angel, and you'll get visits sometimes if you've been really sick, if you've had an accident, if you're in a real distressful situation, or if you had somebody that's died and that you have bonded to. The spirit pays you a little visit before they go off into the light, before their spirit goes off into the light. This is a line that'll come up and touch on your lifeline, indicates a visit from a guardian angel. You got a couple. No, you just got one that shows it. You got a couple here at when somebody has died. Visit at age 12. But it doesn't make a line that goes across the lifeline. It just goes up and touches on the bottom of it. Visit at 12, 13, 30, and 35. Now the one at 12 is the death of someone you bonded to. 35 is the death of someone you bonded to. And the others are, I don't know, accidents or something. That head and spine line tells you two things. Tells you how smart you are, about how straight across your hand that headline goes. But if you got any problems in that spine, it's going to show with little islands in there, those little red marks in the headline. You've only got a couple of those. Most people, I get a whole line that's all filled up with them, but yours looks good. Your spine looks fairly good. The very, very intelligent, because that line goes right across. But find that chart that says Understanding Your Cervical Spine, and look down at the bottom of it. It's got a picture of a vertebrae on it, and off of each side of each one of those vertebrae that's in your spine, those you got a nerve that comes out, and it goes into different areas of the body: your eyes, your ears, your nose, your arms, your legs, your heart, your stomach, your colon, and then they end up in your hands and your feet. And that's how I can read it. Then on that headline, find that chart now that's got the spine on it. It says Chart of Effects of Spinal Misalignment. Got a picture of the spine on it. Right next to that is the name of the vertebrae. So you got, but then they'll show on that line, according to where the spine sits. The spine starts there between the thumb and the index finger with that first vertebrae. So under that Jupiter finger, it's going to show your cervical 1C through 7C, your cervical vertebrae. Under the Saturn finger, it's going to show your thoracic 1T through 12T, thoracic vertebrae. Under the Sun finger, it will show your lumbar spine, your lower back, 1L through 5L. And underneath that Mercury finger, it's going to show your tailbone, your sacrum and your coccyx. And if you got any problems in that area in your spine, it'll make a little red oval. It's a break in that energy, and you got a couple of them there. Basically, your spine looks really good. I don't very often get really good spines like this. You're out of place a little bit right there in the base of your neck, but generally that's, and I'll tell you how to fix that in a minute. Basically, that's from leaning over your darn computers all the time. I didn't used to see that when I was reading in the 90s, but after the advent of computers, then everybody all over the world shows up with this stress in the base of their neck, and that's where you're out. If you'll, here's a little exercise you do if you've been leaning over those computers a lot. You can straighten that up yourself without having to run to a chiropractor. If you'll put your arms right straight out in front of you and lock your fingers together, then turn your palms over backwards. Now raise your arms right above your head. That means your palms are facing the ceiling. And push your arms back behind your head, and you'll hear it go pop, 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 and that's popping those vertebrae back in place, right at the base of your neck. I have a lot of people that work in offices, and they say they do that like once at lunch, just at lunchtime, and once before they go home to straighten up that spine. And they say they feel so much better when they got that spine aligned again to where it's not stressed out of place. It's easy to get those vertebrae kind of stressed out of place. Well, I'll tell you why, because the nerve goes out into the body, intermeshes with the muscle. When you're leaning over like that a lot, it pinches that vertebrae, turns it out of place a little bit. That nerve then gets pinched and it goes zit, zit, and intermeshes that muscle and makes a muscle spasm. The muscle spasm holds that vertebrae out of place. So you do this little exercise I told you about, and you'll pop that back in place and straighten that spine up. And walking is the best thing you can do for your spine, because it exercises those two big old back muscles that holds all those vertebrae in place. Now, in relation to that headline, you've got a line that is the health line, and it starts at the fate line and it goes up towards the Mercury finger. It's vertical, goes a little skiwampus, so it looks very good. If you have a lot of those extra lines in there, then that's being stressed too, and that's your internal organs, your colon, your stomach, your spleen, your liver, your lungs. But your line, you just got one line in there. It looks good. I'm saying you got a fairly healthy looking hand. Nerve endings and reflex areas of the hands. And this is where all your nerves end up, in your hands. And right along where that lifeline goes, that's your spine. Your upper spine right by underneath that Jupiter finger, and your lower spine down towards the wrist. And you just got a couple little places in there. If you kind of massage that right there, and right between your thumb and your index finger, down in your palm area, that's your neck area. Keep that neck straightened up. Remember, that's the nerves that go to your heart and your lungs. So you want to keep that straightened up so you don't get all bent over and get the dowager's hump. You probably don't even know what that is. It's an old term for older people that get kind of bent over at the neck area. It's called the dowager's hump, and it's right there where the base of the neck is.